Great. Okay, good evening. This is the March 9th Town of Newcastle Select Board meeting. Calling to order. Is there any amendments to the agenda? Hearing none, moving on to item 3A, meeting minutes from February 23rd. And is there a motion to approve meeting minutes?
Yep. I'll second
Karen,
that.
Rufus second. Discussion?
It looked good to me.
Okay, no comments, no edits. All those in favor? Motion passes 5 members. Item 4, public comments on items not on the agenda. Kevin, would you come up, please? And just for the record, state who you are.
Kevin Voigt, 34 Mills Road. And I have a few things that the first is dog license renewal.
Okay.
Are you all familiar with?
Yeah, they're due.
They were due
Yeah, they were due.
technically the end of December, but there's a grace period through the end of January.
Yeah.
So $6 license for one dog.
Yeah.
And what is the fine for not having it? $25 for a $6 tag for a year.
It's a good incentive to get people in there to get their licenses.
For somebody who pays a lot in real estate taxes. And I don't agree.
I believe this is a state issue. It's a state program.
It's the state set that fee.
The state sets the fee and it's designed around the idea of tracking domestic animals, for infectious diseases. Like rabies. That's how it was originally set up. We don't control it or vote on it or have any say.
The next thing I have is that I was in here before and I've asked about the crossing light at Mills Road and Academy. And it was a suggestion that if I had any ideas that maybe I could bring forth. And so today I happened to be at the hospital and came out of the hospital. And they have a crossing light there that goes across 130, I think is the road name. And it is set on the side of the road, but it goes across. And I thought, well, why not use where there is an existing pole at the island that is where the light wiring goes across from the corner of Mills Road and Academy to that island that's out there, right? For this pole. And it shows the red light flashing for people to stop and yellow. But if you had something similar to this one that's over by the hospital that was on that island that went out, and you had the indicator buttons at the corners, then that light in the island has not ever been hit. Right?
So
But the corner is where there's a light pole that there's a crossing light that you push the button and it'll illuminate and everybody's supposed to stop. Right? At this, in this corner, the corner at Mills Road and Academy is where the light pole is that keeps getting hit by somebody.
So Kevin, is this on a boom? Like it's on a pole with a boom?
Yeah.
Kind of like a traffic signal?
Yes, I would say so. And what I'm suggesting is that maybe y'all, take a look at that and then put it out on the island that's out there, because nobody's seems to be turning in a big truck that is impacting the wiring that goes across or something like that. And then you have a couple of poles right there at where somebody could press the button. This light that's out here in the middle of the, there would then say stop. Everybody stops and watches for people going across. And then you don't have this light getting hit at the corner. It's a suggestion that, because it seems like, it obviously, it doesn't impact any big trucks that go down 130, otherwise it wouldn't be there. And I'm sure that the hospital says, we really need to have something that we don't have to replace.
Certainly the placement of the pole is the issue. So, yeah, figuring out a different spot.
Yeah.
Or a different way of doing it, that's, yeah.
And then you have some small pole where people just with a little sign. And it says, and as soon as it's pushed, then everybody, that light goes off and it's, does what the blinking yellow lights seem to do at the other ones.
Okay. Thanks for that suggestion.
And then I have a question. Is anybody familiar with,
Yeah, read it.
Yep.
What are you holding up, Kevin?
it's a book that's called Mystery on Echo Ridge by Mary C. Jane. And she's, what are this, other books by the same author, there are 10 of them. And this woman resided right over here on Pump Street.
Cool.
And this book, what it's talking about is the house that we live, right? And it's somewhat fictional, but the thing is that she also, right, she doesn't have a headstone.
That's correct.
And how is that going?
She doesn't have a headstone because her family has refused to place one there. So just from a historical society perspective, since I've talked to Kevin about this in the past, I think we certainly, the historical society, can get permission to put one there if we can raise enough money to buy one. This just the family won't, but they'll visit someone else can if they want to.
And so I'm making note of this
It's in
because,
Knoll.
yes, my wife has contributed to
She
that.
has, yes.
And so how close are we?
Maybe a third of the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not a whole lot.
It's not a whole lot.
So something about community involvement, something that really is
She's one of our noted residents, former residents.
right. And taking note of, not the shipbuilding history is I don't think is talked about enough either. And the last thing I have has to do with the article in the Portland Press Herald on Sunday, the front page, that had to do with Rockport's problem with sanitary sewage, right? And the age of theirs, and that they have Camden and Rockland that they pay for this. And why I'm saying this is that I don't know how old this system is that goes down Mills Road. but it's something that should be taken into consideration because the whole article was about how much the cost of updating these new systems are. And before you go and have new buildings, that's something that should be looked into, because the more people that, or the more that you have, the more it's going to cost at some particular time to renew it, right?
When they did the repairs 2 years ago, or last summer actually, with the, did they?
Mills Road was just the stormwater.
It's just the stormwater.
The state did that.
GSP wasn't over there.
GSB was not involved in that aspect of it,
Yeah.
but there have been grants in the past that have taken care of. The rest of the neighborhood in Glidden Street,
Mhm.
Pump Street, so.
Mhm.
Progress is being made, GSB is searching for funds to do these projects.
Mhm.
That's a conversation with the Great Salt Bay Sanitary District about age of infrastructure and replacement goals. Capacity's there, but yes, every community is dealing with aging infrastructure.
Mhm.
And you need the density to help pay for it.
Right, and then the other is having to do with the in line with the SCBA passage here. The has to do with water pressure and whether the fire department feels like there's sufficient water pressure to be able to handle an increased size of buildings. You know,
Not an issue,
yeah,
pressure's there.
well, it could, we just want to make sure.
Yep,
Sure.
absolutely.
Thanks, Kevin.
Anybody else? Comments not on the agenda? Great, okay, hearing none. Moving on to item 5A. Unfinished business, road discontinuance. So this has been discussed at our select board level for the last, I would say a few meetings over the last year. So what we have to do is, the town needs to vote on this, any road that we discontinue. And so this is part of that process, is to have a discontinuance order filed with the clerk and set a date. And then approve an order of notice for public hearing. So there will be a public hearing process following anything that we do tonight. Is there any questions on this? Details needed?
Just, I'll state, a letter was sent to all of the abutters, and I believe a few of them are here tonight. And I want to make sure there's an opportunity for them to comment or ask questions as we move this process forward, if that's the decision of the board.
Okay, any other questions? So what we're gonna do, we're doing a format where we ask questions, then take the motion, and then we discuss. And we'll give the neighbors a chance to voice opinion. If you have something, you'd have to come up here, but to start this, basically, there's three parts to this. We'll start with a possible motion to approve the order of discontinuance as drafted, amended, and filed with the town clerk. Somebody make that motion? So moved. The second?
Second,
Okay. So let's open that up to discussion. Any? In the board, is there any opinions on this? I think Rufus, you're gonna be,
I have to recuse myself.
recuse yourself anyway.
what about utilities? Where does a utility easement come into play in all of this?
Well, that depends if you keep the public easement in place or not. If you disband the public easement, then we would look to put in a utility easement specifically for electricity. I believe that's the only utility coming in and out of there at this time.
So probably the easier way is just to do
Keep the
it.
public easement.
No, I don't know. Either keep the public or to add an easement to the, I guess, the parcels that
Would be affected
would
by
be
it.
affected by that.
Yep.
I believe it's most common in road discontinuances to maintain the public easement.
That has been the case. I do know that the property beyond 19 Robinson Road. Has the farmhouses on River Road.
Mhm.
There's a section of that previously may or may not have been discontinued.
Yeah.
And, it'd be good to hear from the residents that are there now, whether or not they want. Maintain a public easement on that section of it, because there is no utilities that go beyond that. You could verify that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no easement, there's no necessary need for a public easement to continue across that unless. The property owners want it.
Well, if we can't prove that we discontinued any portion of the road, we didn't.
Right, and that's why I, keep. Discontinue the entire length of it. Keep a public easement on part of it. And disband the public easement on the second end. Is the thought process.
Would it have to be surveyed?
No, does not need to be surveyed.
We can just give a.
The approximates, the lengths and the information that's in here with the approximations are satisfy that requirement.
And if we maintain a public easement on that section of road, what does that obligate us to?
Nothing. Public has a right to walk on it.
And the telephone poles have a right to be there.
Correct. The utility company would have the right to go. And address an issue with one of the poles. That also saves, so on the other side of 19 Robinson Road. There's one parcel that is partially, there's a little triangle in between River Road and the other side of Robinson Road. If the goal is to ultimately release the public easement. There's two things I would look to do, is one is the utility easement, but I'd also look to create. An agreement between the parties so that both parties have access to that section. To cross that part of someone else's parcel.
Sounds like it's just easier to maintain the
Yeah,
public easement.
saves me work.
Well, I mean, it's not just that is the common practice. And that's the advice we've gotten from town council in the past.
So this is not technically a public hearing, but is there a neighbor that came here and thinking that this is a public hearing? So just to be clear, you can come forward to kind of express questions or opinions, but there will be a public hearing which will be recorded for comments.
Okay.
What's that, our next?
The 23rd.
23rd, yeah.
23rd of this month?
If this motion passes, then we would set that.
Okay.
To say, for the record, can you state your name and?
Mike Dubois,
With-
Michael Dubois.
Okay.
Ann Gressinger.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, I just had a couple of questions. We got the letter that the town sent out. And we just bought the 219 farmhouse there. And we were under the assumption it was discontinued, that section. And that's what it shows on the town map as well. So I just wanted, and then there was a statement in the letter that didn't, clarify whether it was or was not. So we're just wondering where that stood. And I talked with Rufus, the neighbor, and the utilities on that part are no longer, the wires are hanging and there's nothing going on there. So we were under the assumption when we bought the land that it had been discontinued and we could do whatever we wanted to in that area. So we're a little concerned or not understanding completely what's happening. Because then it goes into the public easement. Does that include that section?
The intent here is to file with a discontinuance, officially discontinue it and properly included in the registry of deeds, the entire length of it. So even if you, I was under the impression that was discontinued as well, but I've not been able to find record. And if I can't find record, then it's not discontinued. So this process is an effort to discontinue the entire length permanently. So that section that you assumed was discontinued will now be discontinued. And if you choose, I can have it set up so that the first part of it is a public easement that goes up to basically just past 19 Robinson Road. And then from that point on, completely discontinue both the road and the public easement on half of this. If that's your wish, I'll make sure that that's drafted that way.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking.
Okay.
The other question that came up with the letter and all, was if it was a public easement, what happens if somebody gets hurt out there?
It's on the property owner.
Yeah, so we wouldn't want public access for that reason, right?
As far as that's concerned, with the people that are on the part that is discontinued, but does have public access. Is there a way for them to arrange it so there isn't public access because of concerns about injury on their property?
Unfortunately, I'm not an attorney and understand all those nuances, but it's a good question and I will get back to you on that.
I mean, it would be a no trespassing sign, I would assume.
On
Can
the,
you put it
on the non-public act, on the public easement portion of it, you wouldn't have a no trespassing sign.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get to the end of that, you could have a no trespassing sign.
Yeah.
But I'm worried about the individual who's essentially that looks kind of like a driveway. Most people are gonna assume it's a driveway, not a public easement access, but if CMP needs to get in there to fix the pole. Ideally, the tenant or the person who lives there also wants them to be able to fix the pole.
Do you have people wandering down your road?
Not generally. No, I mean, other than the neighbors, who we're friendly with and encouraged to do so.
Yeah.
There aren't generally strangers other than, I think 2 or 3 times since we've been there, somebody gets Google Maps, sends them up our driveway instead of up River Road. I mean.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not Google Maps, I don't know, it's one of those, but it's pretty rare, I mean, other than, FedEx and UPS.
There's no place to go.
No, nope. But there used to be, so sometimes a mapping program will think that there still is, but.
Yeah.
No, as far as that's concerned, I mean, yeah, having the public cross the property isn't an issue as far as we're concerned. It's, I mean, whatever's easiest for the town to do. I would prefer not to get sued if somebody decides to come up my driveway, but what are you gonna do? That's why you have insurance, right?
Yeah. That work with the town.
And yeah,
Is it permissible to put a sign at the bottom of the driveway that says private driveway? Doesn't say no trespassing, it just says private driveway, so people aren't confused. I know you're not an attorney,
don't know.
and you're not a lawyer, and you don't even play one in the office, but.
Public access, excuse me, public access is the same. The situation would be the same for a lot of other places in town, including any town-owned road. That's technically a public access right of way. It's not. You're still technically on someone else's land.
Right.
When you're driving in your car, so when you have an accident on a town-owned road.
In most cases.
You're still on someone else's property and they don't get sued because you have an accident on their property.
Right.
So I think the concerns are pretty negligible. It's just a common legal way of doing things.
Yes.
It's not a common way for people to litigate damages. So, does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
We're just worried about someone hiking and, a tree limb falls, all I'm saying.
Yeah, but I
You
mean,
know?
think about like Dodge Point. I mean, how many thousands and thousands and thousands of people go there? That's, public access to a conservation easement. If someone falls and breaks their leg or their ankle, they don't sue the conservation holder.
Right.
They go, that was dumb. No. Wait, though. Yeah, I mean, I get your concern, I just think that.
The other thing,
Very.
the other thing concern, we don't know what we're gonna do yet, but we've got children that we're gonna help out here. That's why we bought the big piece. And you know, we're gonna dice it up at some point, somehow, and how would that affect that, you know? If we decide to put something there and that road is not really working out, you know, and we delete it.
Well, you always have the right to, through a permitting process. Propose to put in a driveway and that has different. That can cross public ways. Driveways can, for example. It's really not a big deal. That happens all the time. Yeah. Matter of fact, that has to happen. Now that I think about it. Like.
All right.
Be careful with that.
All right, I guess we're good for the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Ned, do you wanna comment?
Well, before I sit down, I'd like to have Rufus, since you've kind of spearheaded this thing, tell me why, what's your thoughts here, and why have you initiated this in the first place?
So,
Hold on, briefly.
yeah,
Just back up. I know you, because I know you well enough, but can you just state who you are and where you live and?
I'm Ned Kirkland, I own the rest of that property. On
this side of,
on this end of things. So it affects me in that I have 3 different properties there, and it affects all 3 of those properties. And right now, you're using the road as a parking lot on my property.
okay, my intention with this, when we moved in, there was a culvert that wasn't working and hadn't been working for a long time, and it took us 4 or 5 years to get the town to come replace it. The town has been plowing and sanding essentially my driveway the whole time I've been there, which has been great, but seems a little inappropriate. And they plow all the snow right up to just above my house. And so when it melts, it runs down the driveway and channels. There's never been any ditching or pothole filling the whole time I've been there. And so seeing as it took 4 or 5 years to get a culvert replaced, I didn't imagine that potholes and ditching were going to be high on the town's priority list. So I'd like to be able to do that to what is essentially my driveway, so that it doesn't get eroded and made worse. As it is right now, I've filled the potholes. This winter, I've plowed it and sanded it. I'd like to do some ditching so that we don't have water running down the middle of our driveway. It's in no way trying to diminish from your access to your property. I think, you know, I'd be more than happy with a public right of way, full access for you to your property. That's not what I'm trying to do. I would just like to be able to maintain what is in essence my driveway, without having to ask the town in return. So that was my reason to do this. It's just so that I can clean out my ditches and fill my potholes. And I understand your concern, but I'm not trying to limit your access to your property.
I guess the next thing I do is I go to the letter that I got, and basically it says the municipal office does not intend to retain a public easement. Now, that contradicts what this lady just said, so is it or isn't it?
That's the discussion tonight. They're gonna set the order tonight. And it's drafted as if the public easement will not retain, or public easement will not be retained. So based on the conversation we're having, the board will likely amend this document before we send it out.
Okay, now you're concerned with the power line. That's not a concern for me, because I can give them an easement. They're already all over other parts of my property without any easements or anything else. So if it's just the power line, is that the issue? Or is it some other issue?
The only other issue would be at your rights to access to other parts of your property from Robinson Road. So Robinson Road splits one of your parcels. One of your 3 parcels is sort of split. There's a little tiny triangle that's actually too small to actually do anything other than maybe an outbuilding. Right? Am I
Yes.
correct?
Yeah,
So,
at
I-
this point,
right, if that easement, if the public easement went away. How do you ensure access to the larger part of your parcel? Because that little tiny triangle technically butts up against River Road, but it's such a slope that
well, I own all those.
you own them, they're separate lots. And so if you were to sell off one lot, how does one retain access to a road? So the whole point of the
You'd have to
conversation,
come over here and explain what you're talking about.
the letter went out to you. Refers to these as one lot number.
That's a part of,
Yep. And and I sent a letter out to this parcel, because this parcel touches Robinson Road.
yes.
This parcel doesn't touch anything.
That's not a parcel.
Back here.
This is all one parcel.
Oh, okay, so this parcel and this parcel is what you got a letter based on. 'Cause
Yes.
It touches here.
Yes.
Okay. I was concerned about access to this. And if this went away as an easement, access to this lot.
Okay.
And
If
my,
this goes away as an easement, this is all one lot. And consequently, from the center line, I own
both sides of
both
that,
sides of
and
that.
therefore an easement with. With Rufus here,
Rufus, unless he wants to go over to River Road.
which I don't think he does. He'd like to maintain this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'd have to have a right of way across my property.
Correct.
Right.
So that keeping the public easement makes the most sense rather than having an agreement between the 2 parties.
If you keep the public easement, does this property revert to these
They revert to this property owner, but the easement retains.
Kevin, I just want to phrase this another way. The intent is not to change the property lines and who controls it. The intent is to relieve the town of maintenance
Maintenance
and
to-
care for that section of road.
Thank you.
That's the whole point of this. And to let Rufus, who owns equipment that can very easily repair the road, to do so
I
without.
have a construction company could do the same thing if I wanted to do that, but I don't choose to do it.
Yeah, but you don't live down the end of the road. He does, so he needs to get there on a daily basis. So that's why he just wants to be able to do work. You can't do work on a town road. You just can't take your equipment out and go out to the road and start doing work on it. It's just not the way it works. So that's his limitation. That's why.
Okay, so that the town then still owns the 3 rods that River Road consists of.
Am I wrong to say this isn't about property lines or access?
We
This is
don't
only,
own it.
this is strictly
It's an
about who gets to maintain that road. So the town just wants to relieve our liability to maintain that road.
But
house.
if you do not retain public easement, then that property reverts to me.
Correct, but
But we're not proposing that.
we're gonna change that letter to reflect keeping the public easement.
And keep the public easement, that means the
to
town
first half.
retains that property, is that
Yes,
correct?
No,
No,
no, we don't retain the property. Property goes to the abutter.
We don't own the property now,
just
just
excuse
just
me,
trying to be clear, we don't own the property
who
now.
does?
The property, I'm not looking at the map, but like, it's a public way.
His property's divided by our public way.
The. I'm gonna stay out of it.
I think what Ben's trying to say is, technically speaking, municipalities in the state own the rights to have a road or access to whatever they want to do in infrastructure
It's a type of easement,
across a piece of property.
yeah,
Unless they own it outright.
unless they own
Unless they own it
fee.
out.
But I don't think we own Robinson Road and feet, like, we haven't like taken whatever 50 foot wide and surveyed it and it's ours.
That's why we call them rights of way, because it's a rights of. way
Yes,
for
when,
them.
when my property is surveyed, the survey stakes, just like your survey stakes, are put at the edges of that right of way.
Right.
I don't own that right of way. You own that right of way.
No, we don't
No,
own
we
that.
don't
right
know.
away.
Usually one property owner or the other will own the road, or the road will straddle the property line.
We might only because of what the DOT did to straighten River Road there. So that might be what came out of the 1970s.
I don't know the exact specifics, but generally speaking, towns don't actually own the roads. They own the rights to the roads as a public right of way. So if we maintain the right of way, literally nothing changes for you. Literally nothing. Not a thing changes for you.
If we retain the public.
If we retain the public right of way.
Here's Robinson Road.
Sure.
These stakes are on my property.
Is this your deed?
Yes, the half of the- over here. My property is right here, that little triangle. This triangle here. And some property all in the direction. So my point being, you have a two-phase proposal here. One is to discontinue whatever you're gonna do for maintenance on that road. Alright? Alright,
It would just be it'd be a road discontinuance, yeah. I'm just trying to see, because normally roads are labeled. And this one is just not labeled.
what, Robinson Road?
Yeah, no, it's labeled the Robinson Road, Old River Road, but it's not labeled as to whether it goes with a parcel or not, or if it is in fact.
No,
Its own.
this is what I literally own, right here.
Yeah.
Right, this is Robinson Road. It's a 3-rod road. 50 foot wide. Contrary to what you were saying, you've got a 20 foot road, wide road. In this letter here. So my question is, if you just do your first part, which is to discontinue maintenance on the road, does this road then revert to me, or does the second part of your
That's what
proposal?
that's what I'm telling you. I don't know from this deed because it's not labeled as to who owns the road.
Well, I've got properties in Damascus, Newcastle, Jefferson, no deeds say who owns the road.
But that's what I'm saying. If it was owned by the town, it would say owned by the town of Newcastle. So.
Well, why are we talking about this if you don't own
It's become a right of way.
it? How's that? Well,
Because we're actually talking about the right of way. I don't know if we need to determine if we actually own it.
We are responsible for it. Have
Well,
been for
Forever.
since the 60s when the state gave it to us and took over River Road.
Yeah.
When it became our responsibility.
When you folks bought your property,
Discontinued,
does your deed, this is your deed?
this is ours.
And it just says discontinued road, but it doesn't actually list a discontinuance resolution.
Right.
Which means the surveyor, whoever did this, just thought, oh, that's an old road, and wrote discontinued road. If it's a real discontinuance, it would reference something in the registry of deed. That, the official discontinuance
The only way we can get rid of a road, discontinue it, is to have the town vote on it.
Which is
The only
what,
way, it's gotta be recorded at the annual town meeting and it's gotta be registered with the registry of deeds. Now, do you understand, I mean, you understand the concept though, right?
I understand,
Okay,
I understand. But on all sides of this property, I've been getting hammered by either the town or the state or somebody. So I'm just trying to see how much more of this am I gonna take before I just say the heck with it and pass it on.
okay, I don't think you're all in disagreement, I think you kind of all agree on the same thing, it's a matter of the details, and I think.
Well, the detail is a two-part thing, and I've just been clarified that contrary to what in the letter here, you're only gonna do one part. One part for these folks, because part of it's already done. The other part is for Rufus, so that he can maintain the road.
Yeah.
Okay, as long as I have an understanding from Rufus that you stay on your side of things.
Sure.
And get your trucks off of apparently my property.
I didn't realize they were, but I'll make sure that they aren't.
Yeah, okay. And then we have to have some kind of agreement between us.
Sure.
As abutting property owners. About maintaining the road.
Well, being that I'm the one that lives on it, I have no problem maintaining it. If you were to build there or sell that lot, and somebody built there, then there'd probably become change in that understanding. But I mean, you're not driving up and down the driveway every day, so why should you maintain it?
Right.
Right, so, and I am, and my kids are, my wife is, and so. To me, it makes sense that that's kind of my responsibility to maintain that, we're the ones that are making potholes, you know? I'm the one that needs to get in and out, my wife needs to get to work, so I need to plow it. And I don't have a problem with that. And, you know, if all of a sudden we had neighbors on that road, maybe there would need to be an understanding about. I don't know, shared maintenance, but until that happens, I'm happy to do it.
Would it be to your advantage to discontinue the public easement?
I don't think it would be, I don't know. I just want to be able to fill my potholes without, you know,
No, but I mean, would it be to your advantage?
I don't think
So that you
so.
don't get public down there.
I mean, as it is now, I don't get the public down there, and it seems legally not to be an issue for the town to maintain that right of, right of way. I really don't, I don't see a benefit to the town giving up all rights to that. I mean, would it be better in your mind for the town to completely give up the
Well, I just
easement?
think if I were in your position, I wouldn't want the public to have an easement down there.
but then there's the concern about having access to your own home
I guess, yeah,
Well,
without an agreement in place with.
right, right, if the town doesn't maintain an easement, then you and I would have to have a legal understanding that I could cross your property.
That's correct.
So it's easier, I think, it's more straightforward legally for the town to maintain that public easement. And then you and I don't have to go to our lawyers and have something written up.
Okay. You folks brought up the issue of insurance. You can't tell me who owns the road, so is that insurance on me or somebody with a public easement?
the way I see it with that, Ned, is. If you're driving down North Newcastle Road owned by the town and you run into the ditch. Is the town responsible because you ran into the ditch? We own that road, or we have right of way on that road, it's the same difference.
So your public, if you retain public easement, you retain the responsibility for anybody on that road.
No,
No,
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's just like the state right away. The state doesn't have an obligation or liability to anybody that injures himself on Route 1. Do they? They own it. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, the state doesn't have to pay your hospital bill because you crashed your car on Route 1.
Well, I guess that goes back to ownership again.
Am I right or am I wrong?
no, you're not wrong. The Sheepscot Road is a perfect example. Sheepscot Road is a town-owned road for most of the length of Sheepscot Road. From Route 1 all the way to Sheepscot Village.
It's
It's a state aid road, but it's whatever.
Use it anyway.
I'm using it
West
anyway.
West Hamlet Road.
Fine, I just happen to know Sheepscot Road.
Yeah.
The property line is the center line of the road. So people who own property on either side of Sheepscot Road, generally speaking, their property line is technically the center of the road. They pay taxes on their portion of the road.
Oh, funny.
Okay, that's just how it works. The town maintains a right of way for public transportation across that
Across
three
every
rods,
property.
across that property. Absolutely, that's what a
Yep.
right of way is.
With the right of way, we have an obligation to maintain.
Mhm.
We have an obligation to maintain it if it's a road. If we've designated it as a public traveled way.
Mhm.
All we're doing with this is taking away the public traveled way portion. That's it. We're saying no more cars, no more public cars can go down this road. That's literally all we're doing. We're still maintaining the public right of way. We're not changing any property lines. Nothing gets changed. Except discontinuance. We're not gonna call it a town road anymore. That's literally all that's changing.
And people need to keep in mind from a tax perspective, do any of us as taxpayers want to be maintaining essentially somebody's driveway? It's a one person, there's one house down there. So if there's one house down there or two houses down there, do we want to be paying taxes to maintain that road when it's essentially a driveway? It helps us out too.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, what we're talking about tonight, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who owns what. Because all we're doing is removing the traveled way portion.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, retaining the public easement makes, I mean, I own both sides of, just like you, I own both sides of Robinson Road. And so if I were to sell the side that my house isn't on, if the town still maintains a public easement, then I don't have to go through the trouble of selling a right of way across my property to that new owner,
For example.
for example.
It's just easier too than having to get agreements with
Yeah.
however many parcels there ends up being.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have independent agreements with
Yeah.
utility companies.
Right.
To be honest with you, if it is private property with public utilities on it. No offense to anybody, but they are much less likely to come help you.
Yeah.
Because it is a pain for them. If it's in the public way, no problem. They're there, they're on.
So maintaining that public easement means that if you were to sell a house lot, then the utility company doesn't have to get permission from anybody to put, power.
Replace the transformer
It's already there.
line, and then you're pretty in.
It's already there.
Oh, yeah, you got power running all over.
So what I hear is the amendment to this is potentially, instead of it saying a public easement will not be retained about discontinuance. A public easement will be retained for the first 545 feet in the generally southwestern direction. And will not be retained beyond that.
For the other
Yeah.
property.
Which is essentially how it's been treated.
Correct. We're just formalizing it at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's fine, that's fine. To the point of ownership, I'm still baffled by what you're telling me. That already I own to the center of that road?
I don't know. I don't honestly know.
I know Rufus, you don't own to the center of the road.
Well, I own both sides of the road.
Yeah,
So
I don't think you do, because that road was originally a state road. It was the original River Road,
right.
and when that got formalized in deed documents, and if I were to do a deep dive again, I'd find those documents that say this is the section that the state is giving to the town. That road, so it might not, it's probably not a situation like Sheepscot where the owners do technically own land under the road to the center line. This is a situation where there is a clear defined line where the state gave the town the road.
Correct.
If we discontinue it, then do they own to the center line?
No,
No.
only if we completely remove all
If we
public
get rid of the
easements.
public easement, and that's what I think we're trying to address for
Okay.
Ann and Michael.
Mhm.
As part of this,
Okay.
is making sure
So
that
that the town still then owns a 50-foot strip.
down at still has access to that 50-foot strip, and we're not sending cars down it. It's eventually just saying, as Ben already said, it's just telling Google Maps, don't send cars down this road anymore.
It's not a town road anymore.
Not a town road anymore. Town right away, it's a town easement.
Well, I would think, Rufus, it would be to your advantage to own that property, just as it would be an advantage to me to own the property.
I mean, you're not wrong. What? If we were to do that. I'm just trying to think how that would work, because then I have to cross your property to get to my property.
You need
So-
a private,
So we would
Right
have,
away.
we'd have to
Private right away.
private right of way agreement,
and
in
it has
place.
to go into both of your deeds.
right?
And then you have a utility easement that you have to create, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. As well.
And then if I ever decide to sell the parcel. Opposite, between me and the river road, then I have to do all of that again.
Do you have enough acreage to do that?
Yeah, it is a separate deeded lot.
Okay.
See, I personally think it's in both of your interests to have it stay a public access. Right
Yeah,
away.
I think it's much easier, cleaner to do it that way.
There's no tax implication, there's no, you don't have to hire lawyers.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with deed transfers. It doesn't get messy on title searches, which are gonna be a problem later on.
Doesn't change a thing at the end of the day.
It doesn't
Doesn't
change.
change a
Yeah,
thing.
and I think that's. The path of least resistance is to let the town. Retain an easement. And. That's it, like. I can fill my potholes
Move on.
and move on. That's really all I want, is just to be able to maintain the driveway.
Okay, I guess we're all set then.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was, when I started this ball rolling, I didn't realize what all was involved in it. And I'm sorry you all had to come out this evening so that I can fill my potholes. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Your car appreciates, it, your tires
Yeah.
appreciate it.
All right, let's move along, because we have another big agenda item. But Thomas, you made a motion, but what we need to do is. You need to revise or amend your motion so that the town manager. Can amend it according to his notes. According to our discussion.
I'm not all.
So
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, man, nice to meet you.
See ya. Does that make sense?
Yes, so I would. Motion to approve the discontinuance. As amended.
The proposed amendments.
Yep, proposed
Yeah.
amendment, would you like me to repeat it?
Yeah, I would say what will happen is you'll make the amendments
Okay,
and then this will be drafted. We'll review this at the public hearing. And we still.
you need to sign the order now.
Uh-huh.
As part of this, so I will amend this.
Yep.
And bring it to you and have you come in tomorrow to sign it. Amend it,
Does that work for everybody?
pop in to sign it.
Yeah.
The goal here is just to amend it so that the public easement is retained for the first 545 feet, and the second portion, the public easement is discontinued. And the entire length of the road is discontinued.
Yep, okay, I would just say proposed amendment by town manager.
Uh, Yeah, I move to approve the order of discontinuance as amended by the town manager. And file with the town clerk.
Karen, you seconded that one.
Yes, I'll second so too.
Okay. Great. Any other discussion? No? Okay, let's take a vote. All those in favor? That's 4 in favor and 1 abstention. All right, now let's set the public hearing date. Motion to set public hearing date on March 23rd.
Second. Oh, was that you? Did you?
I'll make a motion. Any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, motion passes. Did you can motion? you-
Oh,
You can vote on
yes, okay.
Yeah, so motion passes for 5 members. And then the third is to approve the order of notice to vote and public hearing to butters as drafted and amended. So there'll be amendments. Motion to approve.
Sorry, what are the amendments on this one, or are there any?
Well, it's got to reflect the changes that he's drafted.
Yeah, to retain the,
It doesn't say that in that notice, but it includes a copy of the order of discontinuance, so you don't need to amend this in any.
Okay.
It just continues. Yeah. It doesn't specifically say that, so.
So just we'll amend, approve it as drafted.
Yeah,
as drafted, yeah. Did you move that?
You looking for it? I'll move it.
Okay, Karen moves it,
I'll second.
10 seconds.
sorry, it does.
Yeah.
The last sentence.
Oh, okay, as amended.
Repair and plow the road, and public will not have, yeah, it does.
The
Will
public-
retain. Just change
public
one
will
word,
retain. Well, and
2 words.
public easement for the first half of it.
Oh, yeah.
I'll wordsmith that for you as amended by the town manager.
Okay, you good? You good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, no discussion further. All those in favor? All right, motion passes with 5 members. Okay, we're gonna move on now to item 5B, which is the SCBA award response RFP. And this is an award proposed for fire and life safety for $134,975.
And our
questions?
Just a clarification, our award was for like 145?
Yep.
Okay. So that covers the entire, well,
No,
We have
we
to
still,
put in a
we still have an
percentage.
obligation to
Yeah.
cover 5% of it,
okay,
so. Just a little less, and there are, and Thomas can speak more to this, because he's definitely done. Almost all of the work related to it, but I believe like there are, if there's additional funds left, there are other opportunities to use that money for other needs. in the fire department, So.
There's just not much of an opportunity at this point to be able to get any clarification, seeing as it's. a FEMA
Everything's
grant.
on, yeah, part of FEMA, which is,
Yeah, there's not much for
No one's
asking
perfect.
them right now.
without the shutdown, it wasn't easy either, that's even worse.
All right, any other comments, questions on that? All right.
Can I move to award the proposed bid to Fire Tech and Safety of New England Incorporated for $134,975?
Rufus makes a motion, is there a second on that?
I'll second that.
Ben seconds, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, let's take a vote, all those in favor? Motion passes with 5 members.
thank you. And thanks,
Yeah,
Thomas.
thank
You guys.
Thanks, Thomas.
Thanks to the free money.
Yeah.
Item 5C, okay,
Michelle's been sitting so quietly.
thanks, Michelle, FY 27 budget, and so just to recap, this is this is lingering, we have to come to terms with the capital roads, capital plan. For capital reserves. What I would suggest is, if you're all clear with this, I would say we make a motion to, make modifications to the categories to the budget. And, we all come up with the, figure, in discussion. That makes sense?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm confused.
So, motion to, make modifications to the capital plan reserves fund.
Which part of this are you talking about?
The 5-year capital plan, the budget,
The road plan.
the road plan.
Okay,
Am I right?
oh, I didn't, okay. All right.
So-
So 5-year capital plan,
Basically what we're doing is, right, we have to figure out what we're gonna do right here for, the roads plan.
Mhm.
And so, go ahead.
Just to give context, so the municipal budget currently has $900,000 for reserves. Specifically for capital roads. If you pull up that 5-year capital road plan, it shows about 998,000. Almost $1 million, so there's about $100,000 hole. If we were to stick with what's in there. And I know there's potential proposals for modifying some of this, and I think that's what we're intending to do right now. So we can either get that number down or an effort to say, well, let's just put another $100,000 on the line. And I will say there's a highlighted $50,000 for the sidewalk. That is me throwing a number out the wall because I have still not heard from our road commissioner.
Okay.
Like Rufus, you're probably more in ability to say
No,
what
no
asphalt
idea.
than I am, so I don't know.
Nope, I don't pave.
double it.
$100,000 throwing an asphalt that's 4 feet wide.
Yeah.
5 feet wide.
Really?
When we did the sidewalk from the corner of Mills Road to the front of the town office parking lot,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 75 feet.
We did that or the state did that?
We paid for that.
The new one, the much wider one?
If you're coming down the hill.
Yeah.
You cross Mills Road.
Yep.
And the second you step onto the pavement and you walk to the edge of the town
Mhm.
office parking lot. However long that is.
It's not long.
Yeah, that was
Did that-
$27,000.
Did that, how much was it?
$27,000.
Does that include, curbs?
No.
Yeah.
No, that was just the,
No curb.
that was just the,
It was the groundwork and the asphalt.
what decade was that in? though? That was 10 years ago,
It was sooner than that.
was it?
Johnson.
Yeah, so 5, 6 years ago.
Ain't cheap, I'm just saying.
I got a question. Michelle, what's the role of Michelle?
Michelle has the calculator. She's here.
I understand, she's our treasurer, but just or financial whatever, I think, what's the term?
Finance director.
Finance director, and do we need to review anything, Michelle, or is it?
Yes, we're gonna go through the budget calculator, show changes and what it does to our total amount.
Specifically that 5-year capital roads plan,
It can. Right now, I mean, I still don't have.
or are you thinking the bigger budget?
The whole.
The bigger budget, okay, all right, yeah, so we have two things, we have the capital roads budget. What we're gonna approve on this, and then. What we're gonna do with the bigger budget.
Yep.
So let's just focus on capital roads for right now. Which I don't think includes so much Michelle. In terms of a graphic display.
Okay.
I think we just have to accept. The work that we're being proposed here, so 50,000 you think is light on that number?
Well, so let's look at the River Road, right? How many feet of River Road sidewalk are we?
That
looking at?
includes curbs.
No, I know, but just how many feet is it?
Less than 1,000.
Less than 1,000, and how many feet is the Mills Road?
No idea.
Well, if it goes all the way to across from Stewart Street, which is
Right.
where it should
Yeah.
go. That's more than 1,000.
So,
But it's not gonna be 5 feet wide, it doesn't have curving.
curves,
there's nothing to worry
sure, I
about
know, I'm
putting-
just,
Right,
We're not looking to
So-
do any improvements, we're looking to do
Maintenance.
a flat
Maintenance.
maintenance
Yep.
of what's there so that.
Rip up the asphalt, put a new base down.
Yeah.
Pave it.
I mean, we could. Budget 50,000 to go from the intersection. North. You know, as far as if we keep 50,000, I mean, that's our budget. More or less for the sidewalk. Like,
And then just stop wherever it stops.
stop at the.
Stop from the 50,000.
$50,000 runs out. Oh, it's lunchtime, there we go. But,
I think if we do it, we should actually do it.
well, we don't.
Where it goes.
But the problem is, we don't have a hard figure, but
I know
it's
that.
an arbitrary number at this
I get
point.
that.
So we could either double it and hopefully that's good and we'll run out a little further down the road, or.
Yeah, I mean, it is a reserve account, so I mean, it's not like. We can say we're gonna do it, and as long as we have the funds in the reserve account, we have the funds,
Mhm.
which. We will.
Do you also wanna propose your suggestion?
Yes. My proposal, the way it shows up on the calculator is actually a net decrease. By $100,000 in the reserve account.
For all the roads?
For the fact that I'd like to remove the sand salt shed.
What? Okay,
I just struggle with,
entirely.
yes,
For
this year,
or
for this
move,
year, for this year,
move it.
at
down.
least for this year.
Oh.
I just struggle with. The uncertainty right now, I think, between the idea of public works potentially coming down the road. And the idea that probably it's not a sustainable site
Mhm.
any longer. I think a clear picture will become more evident in the next few years.
Mhm.
One way or the other,
Mhm.
and I would hate to invest that amount of.
Money in the brownfield
Money
site.
into it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then you have the obligation. And next thing you know, we're already on borrowed time with the building.
Mhm.
3 years down the road. Gotta replace the building.
Mhm.
Are we gonna move then? Oh, well, we just spend,
$300,000
paving it, so
no.
we're married to it.
Yeah.
So that's, I think. With some clarity in the next year or two would help.
I
And
support that.
I stopped up there today, warm day. Dirt, like your dirt driveways and everything like that are a mess right now.
Yeah.
We were in good shape as far as travel, the pads are still intact, they're cleared. To the contractors.
Mhm.
They did a good job cleaning up and everything, so the pads are intact and in place, so.
Mhm.
Which is what we're legally obligated with the DEP to have. With the loading areas and the salt.
Does excuse me, Thomas, your figure though keeps the 50,000, so.
Well, there's a buffer in there, because
You said it decreases by.
it decreases by 100, cause your total. When I added up the River Road sidewalks. The final pavement on. Hopkins Hill. Overlay of Academy Hill. And then the engineering work for Pleasant, Liberty and Glidden. We were just shy of 700,000. $100,000. Gives you a good buffer. With the potential for either Mills Road sidewalks. Or the work, whatever way the work plan could be the bowl, but.
When you say a buffer, you mean like contingency fund?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking to budget up, I wasn't looking to budget rate up to the. To raise the funds to the work plan, raise the funds. As a reserve, rather than as a work plan.
As a reserve.
Yeah.
Then you have buffer if you have overages.
If you have overages.
Cause you know, the 30,000 and the 60,000 that are further up that list
Are gonna be more.
are estimates.
Yeah.
From our road commission.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're not confirmed numbers with engineering for estimates.
Yeah, I mean,
Right, so we bump Mills Road sidewalk up to 100,000, which,
No, he's not even saying that. He's saying. Take the whole amount, which was, you just changed it, what was it?
it was 989,
998.
998, I'm sorry.
We're dyslexic in opposite way.
Yeah, right.
998. So you're suggesting, instead of your number that you just put in, which was 732, 775, you're suggesting. A total capital road reserve account budget amount of,
800,000,
thank you,
even,
even.
perfect.
Yeah, and that,
And that's reflected in the calculator right now, there's a,
rather, so can I just, I mean, these numbers, I mean, whatever. These numbers are fluid, so if we only spend 370,000 on Academy Hill. We can move that money to the other, another road.
Another project,
So-
so the point of a capital, that's the point of the reserve account. which
That's
is
right.
Thomas's point.
I know, so I'm just, rather than have something that says contingency.
No, it's just a reserve account.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but just to make
Make it
the
even.
numbers work, I would put the rest of the numbers in the Mills Road sidewalk, just so we have something to shoot for.
gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
the bottom
but-
line is 800.
As long as this is, I mean, this is the work plan in terms of the projects we want to do, but the dollar amount is
Dancing.
not. Perfect.
I know, no, exactly, that's my point, but then we haven't, let me just say this, I think. In the years we've been going through budget, in my experience, we haven't just had sort of a. Extra line that says, there's another. $70,000 nondescript. To be used somewhere else, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
No,
No?
I agree
I mean,
with
the
you.
math usually works out, that's the number we go to the town with.
Yes, but we don't usually go to the town with like. This is exactly what we budgeted for each road
Oh.
project. We usually go with a capital roads reserve number.
That's at the
no.
bottom of the line, that's what we're voting on,
Yes.
but. Everything above it adds up to be that bottom.
This doesn't go to the town. This never shows, this is essential,
Capital Roads does,
yeah,
as a bottom line.
As a
Go with-
transfer to reserves.
Yeah,
go look in the budget, but the projects don't show up.
all I'm saying is this, if you put $800,000 in there. Where do you put and keep 50,000 on Mills Road, where do you put the other? Difference, where do you put the difference in that column?
We're talking apples and oranges.
You are.
Yeah. Really hard
It's
to.
okay.
I'm,
I
and
understand.
from
both
one
points. I
perspective, I'm
understand.
saying,
Yeah.
it almost doesn't matter.
It kind of doesn't, but it kind of like, it's just not consistent.
If,
But
public has access to this, if they open it up and they see that it's less than $800,000, the question will be, what are you doing with that other money?
that's right.
Yeah, and
I'm trying to say that.
Verbally, I would
Trying
say.
to build the reserve for future projects.
Right.
of course,
You like to have a good buffer for contingencies on top of being able to save a little bit on top every year.
Well, that's fine, I think, yeah.
Doesn't matter how you slice it.
I mean, that, if somebody asked me if that's how I tell.
I think the column's gotta add up, so either we add another line for the difference in
There.
contingency,
Gonna do this.
or we
You just
add
bumped
it
up
somewhere
Mills Road.
else.
yeah, put
You
it,
just bumped it up.
I distributed between Glidden.
75
which is gonna be
bucks.
more than
Yeah.
the
For Glidden,
65.
sold.
$75.
And then, put the balance in the Mills Road, and I think we're probably pretty close to what those numbers are gonna be, honestly. Glidden Street's gonna be a
Jordan's
mess.
excited to say something.
Kevin, wait, okay, hold on a second, Kevin, I'll let you comment in a minute, I wanna make sure we're all clear
Yeah.
here what we're doing with math.
Well, yeah, the math, I agree with you, the math is important. I'm not saying that it's not, but I'm trying to stress, I think, Thomas's point, which is really important, that the fundamental shift in thinking that we would like the town to adopt or understand is that capital roads is a reserve account.
That's exactly
It's
right.
not a projects list.
Well, it kinda is.
Well,
It
we're putting
is.
money aside, we have projects in mind, we're gonna take them in order, but we might shift those around in
That's-
any given year.
That's what I'm saying, we're speaking the same language,
Okay.
I just want the damn Excel spreadsheet to work out. Is that too much to ask?
It's fine. The spreadsheet works out at $800,000.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Looks fine to
It
me.
looks wonderful.
Alright,
So seeing as this is a 5-year capital road plan, what does fiscal year 28 look like? What's the bottom line on what we've shoved there?
It's a lot higher.
yeah,
Only because you have potential ideas for rebuilds. And I asked Seth for a lot more numbers this year than I have in the past, just to start to get a broader picture,
Yep.
but I didn't have him do everything for me. But you can see now in that list.
Under 1 million, it's under 9, I think.
I mean,
And it might still be that the sand salt shed
Still, yeah,
shoves enough.
I mean, right now, I just have numbers.
Things might become clear.
It's, right now, I just have numbers that get us to 806,000, but that doesn't talk about. We're doing the design for the fire station parking lot, Liberty
Right.
Street, Pleasant.
what does that mean?
Doing the design for Glidden Street, I don't know how much the cost is actually gonna be, and whether or not those are questions about. Again, an opportunity to bond or not.
Right,
Or what the
yeah.
time frame is, honestly.
It could be another year out.
Yeah.
So I just my goal was to just try to identify our needs. And when during our conversation during the workshops, when might we try to tackle these? And that's this is constantly a moving target, but it's making sure we're identifying them.
Yeah, I mean, cause you look at next year, we've got some numbers, but we don't have anything for. South Darien Road, Kings Highway, Hassan Ave, it's a lot of.
I don't
Possible.
necessarily agree with paving East Haven Ave, Hassan Ave.
Right.
But these were numbers that our road commissioner gave me for you guys to make.
let's, before we get into a discussion of next year's budget. I mean, I think we reviewed this,
Okay.
my
Yep.
opinion is we reviewed this during our capital roads discussion a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think we came to an understanding, we were just kind of doing some fine tuning here, is that fair? And I-
Yeah, no, that's fine. I
I-
was just looking at it and like, okay, but yes,
Yeah, let's,
1 year at a time.
1 year at a time is kind of the idea.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna ask Kevin, what did you want to ask?
So, our property is about 200 feet of Mills Road.
Okay.
And sidewalk is on about a half of that is, the old concrete. And it's in perfect condition. It doesn't need any top coat on it or anything. But I don't know that it's the same width that is required by.
It's not.
So, but it is in great shape, and then another part of it is just been covered over by asphalt, but I don't doubt that it's not in good shape. Also, that would not need to be redone. There are certain parts of it that definitely need to be gravelled and asphalted and made into something really, because there isn't anything on certain other properties, but it's like it when you're talking about 100,000, it might not be that it has to be 100,000, it could be something less.
I don't want to speak for Seth, but I'm just gonna guess he would say, if they're gonna repair the sidewalk, they're gonna need to dig out what's there, put down a base and then pave it. And we just have to figure out based on what he comes in with for his final estimate, how far that takes us. I mean,
Well, that base with those concrete, I mean, it's all.
yeah, and it may
That's a
be fine, but it
perfect
may
base,
not,
but
it may not work with what we're
Right.
doing, so, I think that's, it's too hard to say what we do there at this point in time, so.
And I did measure it out. It is just under 1,300 feet
Mhm.
from the end of Mills Road to the far side of Stewart.
Okay. Are we good on capital
Yeah.
roads?
I think so.
All right.
Yeah, good suggestion, Thomas.
Yeah, sounds good.
So you'll see in the budget calculator, Michelle, do you wanna share your screen and share that publicly?
Yep.
We went through and put yeses for the items that have been discussed, and Thomas called me and we addressed the last two, but these are what came up during the workshops. And I've revised down the regional school unit is down from what it was a couple weeks ago. Another Thomas went to the school board meeting, the school board finance committee meeting,
Kicking that up.
got a revised number from them. I think he strong armed them into
I
lowering it.
didn't do anything.
He showed up and sent me a photo of the
They
document.
handed out some papers in this. I was like, yeah, this looks better than what it was before.
Yeah.
So we were concerned it was gonna be a 9% increase on the school. It's only
Only.
it's still high, but it's a 5.41 instead of the 9.2. So thank you for going to that and getting that number for us, Thomas. The other items were the LCTV funding request. It came in late when we were developing the budget, but it wasn't late enough according to our policy. So we've included that as an item. And then the veggies to table funding request also. There's also, there was a recommendation to move the motor vehicle excise revenue increase to 20,000. Adding some more revenue back in and still being conservative there. And then something that Thomas realized, and I had realized before, but completely forgot about. The fire truck is actually a $656,000 expense. We will have, with this budget approval, 250,000 in reserve, and the bond is for 400, so we're short by $6,000. So a request to put another 6,000 in that reserve account. And last is what we just talked about reducing the capital, and also pushing out the sand salt shed. Then that drops it down $100,000 there. So that puts the municipal budget at a 0.06% increase from year to year.
Wow.
Nice work. Okay.
So that puts us at a 3.33% total.
Assuming the school doesn't add more things in, yes.
That 5.41, is that an updated? Because
That's the updated number. Yeah, the initial assumption in January was 4%.
Uh-huh.
And then at some point in February, the superintendent sent me a number that was a 9.2% increase. And then Thomas went to the meeting last week and got the number that was given to the finance committee, which is the 5.41%.
And they're still workshopping. But this was when she sent out the 9% increase back in
February.
February. That was her the worst case. I'm not gonna go up from here number. It came, more numbers and stuff came in on their end. Things came into focus. There's very little wiggle room for tweaks. They have maybe a few $100,000 out of I think it's a $14 million budget that they're actually looking at. And they're gonna go line by line through those things. They're gonna have better, they'll have a few more, the word escaping me, but,
Just to mention. Thanks for the with.
it'll be clear if they can have, rollover and
Carry forward.
carry forward. That might affect, maintenance projects, those sorts of things with reserves and stuff like that, so, but this is the much more in focus number that they do not see going up from here. If anything, it may take a couple of ticks down, but this is a pretty focused number from what I understood.
Cool. 3.33 is it's a win.
It's the best number I've seen since I've been doing them.
Oh,
Lowest number.
considering that it was the county and the school that drove it up. Or it would have been really low.
Well, I would have asked for more.
No. So we need to approve these.
Well, are there other changes the board would like to make?
No, what we control is currently sitting at a flat budget.
Yeah.
From last year.
Yeah.
So. No, we've done a great job. You've done a great job. You've done a great job.
Yeah, Sean.
Yeah.
Thomas.
You've done a great job.
I made two suggestions.
They
There's
were
how
good
many, how
suggestions.
many lines are in that budget?
Sure.
I'm not gonna mess it up.
All right,
No, that's great.
And I just would like a formal decision to change these things.
let's make a motion to approve the budget as amended tonight.
So moved.
Seconded.
Rufus and Karen. Any other discussion? No, all those in favor? Motion passes 5 members and. Okay, item 3, I think.
God,
Sorry.
I'm gonna give some background after you're done talking.
All right, so. Follow my sort of lead here. The way I'd like to do this, kind of sign off this
Yeah.
dynamic. Is to ask somebody to make a motion on one of the options
Mhm.
and look for a second,
Mhm.
and then we can discuss it. Okay,
Okay,
so first one to the table with a motion.
I would move, uh. To,
Not as
Adopt-
easy as you thought.
adopt 8 category-based municipal budget questions, 1 for all of the current provider agencies and 2 for the 2 petitioned agencies, for a total of 28 questions. Option number 4.
Option number 4. Okay, is there a second? Anybody support that?
I mean, sure, because we're gonna discuss it. So yes,
Okay, we will take a vote on it. If you second it.
right, but we're gonna discuss it though, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, let's open
to
it
see
up.
if we wanna vote it.
Yeah, no, that's the way it'll work, but
Okay,
let's. You didn't sound committed to your second, so,
I'm not committed to anything here right now.
fair enough, okay, so we have to get into this anyway, so. Option 4 is the motion, so, let's discuss it.
Right, just by way of. I like to research things. And I still don't really have an opinion, but I'm gonna just let you know, I looked at 3 other towns. That do it by ballot, by secret ballot,
Mhm.
the budget. And so I was just curious. So I looked at Jefferson's, I think it was their 2004 budget. Without the schools, well, the county budget, they're looking at like $1.5 million in that year. They had 32 warrant items. Only 4 on the budget. Their budget ones were just high level, but just the town was broken down into 4 sections. They don't have a lot of the stuff that we do. They had 8 provider agencies and then like a dozen housekeeping and 6 that were specific articles for that year and things they were doing. They would do things like fire department, $70,000. Municipal salaries, $313,000, like that, nothing broken down any more than that. Edgecombe, holy cow, they did their 2025, they had about $1 million, almost $1.9 million with the schools in the county. They had 1 on elections, but for 8 positions, 20 budget questions. 14 housekeeping ones, 9 provider agencies, and 2 kind of specific ones for the year. So that was totaling 46 warrant questions, and then they had 20 on their school. So theirs were very specific, like they would break out, so I'll use fire department again. Fire department operations, whatever that amount was, and then fire department salaries, breaking that out, municipal government operations, and then municipal government salaries, so they kind of broke theirs down differently than you did. And then Camden's a lot bigger than us, but they had a total of only 22 questions, 9 housekeeping, 1 on elections, 9 real specific things, 3 on the budgets, but really it was, we have a budget of $15 million, including the schools and the county, yes or no. So they're all over the place. I don't know how long Edgecombe's been doing it like that and how the people feel about having 66 warrant questions. But the others were 22 to 32.
Mhm.
So, and it just, everybody's all over the place.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that helps or not at all, but that's at least a reality of what some of the other towns are doing.
So my reason for picking number 4, since we're in discussion.
Yeah.
Is to. Roger's not here to argue, so this is what Roger would like to see,
Mhm.
right?
Oh.
And it would inform, oh, are you here to argue for
I'm
Roger?
Roger's neighbor.
Okay,
He,
great.
he left me a voicemail, so I
Go ahead,
have.
Roger.
Yes, introduce yourself.
My name is Leo Azevedo. Yeah, and also Roger's neighbor, so. here I am.
Okay, good.
Anyhow, so his argument being, the way that I received it at our last budget meeting was that if the budget gets voted down, we have a more informed conclusion as to why the budget got voted down. So when we go to rework said budget, we know what we need to focus on. Not that that doesn't mean that everything doesn't have to get reworked, because obviously it does. If the budget gets shut down, you have to rework everything. But that the other reason for picking number 4 is it was in the middle of our options, right? So it's not the least, it's not the most, it's the less side of more. So
Less is more.
less is more, right? We're trying to keep it low, but then also to have some information gained in the totals. So I'm not married to it.
Yeah.
I'm not. You can convince me otherwise, but I want to hear the arguments against.
And thank you for sharing Roger's perspective, because he had a pipe burst in his basement and he's got flooding and heavy.
I mean, I'm assuming that's Roger's perspective. That's how I took his
We're
perspective
getting yes or
from the
no
last
here.
budget meeting. Is that about?
Yeah, I would agree with you, yes.
Okay,
I think the discussion in our last meeting was that, well. If one item gets voted down because somebody doesn't like to spend $800,000 on roads, the whole budget gets voted. down,
collapses.
and we have to go back to work. So it's kind of, to me, it's one and the same, whether you're voting on 8 different items or one item.
Yeah.
So
Let's just be real clear about that. If we put all 8 budget articles up and one of them doesn't pass, the other 7 that did pass do not have to be re-voted on.
That's correct.
Okay,
oh, yeah.
okay, but the impact is we cannot commit taxes until we have a complete budget. So the net result in terms of money in, money out, when we can pay our bills, when we can start on road projects, gets delayed past town meeting or July 1st until we can hold that next special town meeting to do another vote. Assuming it then passes, then we can start enacting that budget. We can't start enacting that budget until the whole budget passes.
Right, it all just reverts to.
So that's when I say the whole budget collapses, it doesn't all collapse. We got 7 articles that did pass, 1 that didn't pass. Yes, we have information, but we can't spend any money. We can't sign up tax bills.
Yes. One of those towns, I think it was Edgecombe, had in one of their warrants, if a section of the bill of the budget does not pass, the spending continues at the level that was in the prior year. The sections that passed, good, the section that didn't pass continues on until they can get it through a town meeting. So I don't know if we would have to do something like that to keep paying those bills, but or if we can, MMA license.
What would happen is that if we go to secret ballot and you have broken them down into 8 categories as currently proposed, and one of them does not pass, I would ask the board to call for a special town meeting. Ideally before the end of June, we'd hold a workshop to come up with a new number to propose at that special town meeting. And you continue to do that until you finally get a number passed. So we don't need to commit. We're not in a situation where we have enough cash on hand that we could get through paying our bills, but we can't commit taxes until we have the full budget and we're ready to.
Would there be enough time?
Yeah.
From the date that we tally the votes to the end of June,
You need 7 days, you're not looking to do another secret ballot, you would just do a special town.
I
meeting.
know, I understand that.
You technically only need 7 days.
Basically, we would have, so we'd have to have an emergency select board meeting
Yes,
after the vote. Understand what is the warrant article for the town, special town meeting, and then schedule it for the following week, 7 days later.
you could hold it. The second week of, because the ballots are the elections are the first week of June.
June 9th.
June 9th.
Oh, it's the second week in June. Okay, so then yes, you'd have a special meeting of the select board to schedule a meeting for.
I'm guessing we'd have, yeah, I mean, we'd probably have an emergency meeting. I would probably say this week of the 16th or 15th,
Mhm.
and then we'd have a week, which would be the next
Plus a
Monday,
day.
to have a special town meeting.
Mhm.
That'd be 7 days. So, yeah, I mean, the thing I think, the way I see it though is, I mean, really, the roads is the only kind of discretionary.
Yeah.
Kind of place in our budget where we can have flexibility. In general, if general government it gets voted down, what are we gonna do? I mean,
Well, but general government hasn't gone up, it went up 0.06%.
No, the whole
Oh, the
municipal
whole
budget,
budget.
whole
Our
municipal
budget.
budget.
Right, right.
0.06.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying, like, if general government gets voted down. I assume that they're not gonna wanna come back with, you know, we don't know exactly what.
Yeah.
What to go back with, but, I'm just saying, that's, or. Or public safety, pick any of the other items where we're really tight
Tight,
on our
yeah.
budget,
Mhm.
we're really just kinda. Split hairs, I mean, we have a tight budget, I think, that's why I think we do a really good job of. Coming to a number, especially one that's flat this year, so I don't know.
No. I'm a little concerned with how we present each of if we do go with sections, how we present them, because we've got so much in each of these line items. Do we roll them just to like the bottom line for compensation total and fringe benefits, like, I don't wanna overwhelm people with 40 pages, just because so much of it is. Like general government right now is 3 pages here.
It can just be the sum of the total.
It's just.
I think it was
the
just
vote.
one
Just
question with the.
General government.
With the,
Do
yeah,
do you support, whatever the question is, however it's worded.
Shall the.
Shall the town raise and appropriate X amount of dollars for this category? Yes, no.
So in this case, like, appropriate, where's the bottom line here? $730,000, well, we don't know. You don't even know what's in it, but $730,000 for general government.
Yes,
Okay, that's the plan right now.
that's the intent, is to draft it with just the dollar amount.
That's
The
how
bottom
our
line.
warrant articles
Yes or
are
no?
written at open town meeting anyway.
They
are,
just happen to
correct.
have a
Yep.
screenshot of the
Okay.
full line item.
Okay, good, that will look
And
a
we
lot
can make
better.
the line item available.
They'll have it.
It would be
Yes.
displayed out, you come in the guard, you come in the door to vote, we would have everything available.
Oh, good,
And then it would be on the website as well.
okay, good.
We would be having to have that.
see,
Okay.
I'm in favor of one municipal budget.
Yeah.
Only because I think. I used this example in our last meeting, like schools. You're not voting on whether they're spending $60,000 on busing or not.
Right.
You're voting on the school budget. That's the budget committee, finance committee's, charge. That's our select board, finance committee's charge to go through this stuff. And present the town with an acceptable, what works for the town under our opinion. And then have the town vote on it. I would think that the budget gets voted down as one number, at least then you can go back and say, well, let's not do Mills Road this year. Let's not do, and let's take another $100,000 that budget and then present it again. I mean, there's flexibility in that scenario. If, let's face it. I think that's most likely the item to be voted down. Typically it's got the most commentary during a meeting,
Mhm.
but who knows?
I also think if you separate them out, you're setting up. You're setting the stage for a needless war,
Mhm.
which is, if one item gets voted down. And we have to come back to present that one item. The most likely folks in attendance at that second special town meeting will be the folks who voted it down.
Right.
Who would be inclined to continue voting it down.
Not necessarily representative of the larger.
That's larger, right.
I don't wanna set up a situation where I know Jefferson went through with their school budget, was it last year or the year before, how many
Yeah,
times
last
did they
year.
come back?
Yeah.
Last year, 3 times, 4 times, nightmare.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't know all politics behind that. And I'm not assuming that that's the one thing that's gonna happen, but I can see that's a clear path, because traditionally, I've been here in Newcastle long enough to know. The special town meetings are generally speaking more dominated by special interest groups.
From what I've seen, yes.
They're not generally indicative of the general populace.
Yeah, the people that have
Have special interests,
special interest, sure.
yes. So, I think. I think if we're not going to do just a single municipal budget question, we should just have open town meeting.
So if this is our year to try,
Like jump.
you would say that option number 2 would be a better representation of not having open town meeting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna bring up my pet peeve with all of this one more time. Is provider agencies. We have a policy that now is in conflict with how we're asking people to vote. Because we said we were just gonna pass through the requests, we weren't gonna rule on them, we weren't gonna suggest on them or anything. We're gonna pass through the requests to the voters and let them decide. But if we're rolling it all into one, or if we're just putting the provider agencies together as one, we're not allowing people to vote on them like we have in our policy. So
I think we are following, if we do option 2, we are following our policy. Because the 2 provider agencies that did petitions have to be on the ballot separately.
yes, but we are still just passing through the other requests
As a whole.
as a whole, right?
So
We
like
have always,
coastal rivers, you get lumped in with every other private agency.
Yeah.
So if there's a particular group that really disagrees with one provider agency, all the other provider agencies could potentially suffer by being voted down.
but
If that's the viewpoint of
correct,
that group.
100%.
It's, I was more in favor with breaking them down. That was my,
The provider agencies?
yeah. But,
We've always lumped them together.
And that's been,
but you always had the ability to,
yes,
at open town meeting, to
Have that discussion.
have that discussion and bring numbers.
Yeah.
and change.
Take
the
your
numbers.
lines down.
And it has always passed.
Yes, it has.
It has always passed. And the only one that has been any conversation at open town meeting in the last 20 years has been Skedonfa.
Yeah.
That's the only one.
I just don't see the majority of the people voting down. Hardy Roots or New Hope for Women for a few $1,000. I just.
Probably not, but
I
I'm
don't
looking
think
for a lot, more than a few $1,000 too. I don't know, it's just that our policy was to pass, we said, let's pass it through and let the voters decide on it. When you're lumping everything into one budget or into one category, they're not able to decide on it. It's not allowing that.
Mhm.
So I don't know, maybe we try it this way right now, but I think that's something to keep in mind. That doesn't really let people, that's, we're saying as a group, here's one number, and within it, we're giving all these organizations money. Not It's not paving our roads. We know why we want to give them money, but we're just passing the number along.
I mean, on the backside of that, we could change our policy. It's only an
Right.
internal policy, so
Right. That's what I'm
come
saying.
July, we can put that on the agenda and talk about it, how we wanna approach this again next year.
Right. We make a
think the-
recommendation.
I don't think the policy actually says that it's passed through, though. I think that's just what we said.
That's what we said, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's the policy that we made. I thought that was
not
what
written
we
in
wrote.
I don't, I.
It is, I mean, you have a process which just basically says, if you do this,
Yeah.
you will be on the ballot.
If
The
you're.
board will not modify.
If,
it.
if you don't go up more than a certain
That's
percentage.
essentially
But
the,
nowhere in the policy does it say we're gonna present each provider agency request as a separate warrant article.
No, that's
No.
true.
It doesn't say
It does
that.
not say that.
But we've given up our right to say, I think that request, someone comes in next year and says, oh, Newcastle just passes it through, let's request $75,000. Well, they're just gonna pass it through.
That's why we have the policy, because if they
Well,
don't
yes, it
go
had
through
to go to vote,
petition.
yes, it would have to be
If
petition.
it doesn't go to petition, then we do retain that right
Mhm.
before we set the warrant.
For those, yes, for
So,
crazy one, you're
Yeah,
right,
I-
you're right.
number two, I think is completely in line with the policy that we have written. I understand your concern, but I don't see a conflict.
That we've removed our ability to modify any request.
We already did that.
We removed our ability to,
We have followed our policy by reviewing the requests that were not submitted by petition for inclusion in the budget. If we wanted to amend them prior to submitting the budget to the residents, we could have. We chose not to.
I saw us as not being able to. So Kevin says he's shaking his head.
I'm sorry, I think Karen's concern is that we drafted the policy that assured them if they followed our policy, the board wasn't gonna modify it.
Yep.
And it would just be something that goes to.
It's past, that's what I'm saying.
So
saying past the
Karen would have likely suggested modifying something
line. Yes,
during the meeting,
I would have.
during our workshop discussions.
I get it now.
I mean, we could
Not for
modify,
this year.
no,
but-
listen to me, I mean, I think we could modify it. So that we could have the right to say. One of those agencies, no matter what, has to go to a separate vote. As a separate line item, so you could lump together, I don't know, we have 13 or 14 agencies, we can lump together 12 of them. And put 2 out to town vote and just say, we think there's a lot of money here to vote on, let's just see what the town says on those 2 agencies. And see how that goes, and we could change the policy next year
Yeah.
to be a little more fine grained on that.
Yeah.
A little more.
Wait, it says right here. In item 2, the provider agency may instead opt to provide a written request to the select board submitted to the town clerk, blah, 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 blah. With the following for the consideration of the annual town warrant, however, A, an agent or representative of the provider agency shall present the required materials like scheduled budget meeting select board, and B, the select board reserves the right to publicly discuss and debate the merits of the funding request, modify the funding requested amount, or by majority vote of the board determine not to include it include the request on the annual town warrant. That's for the non-petition route.
Mhm.
If they petition, it goes
It's
it's a straight shot through.
It is. All right, I didn't recall that, and we didn't discuss any of them, we just said that's what the request was and we put it through. So,
So you remember our discussion different at the time of the.
we didn't really have any discussion on the provider agencies, we just said, the request, those will go into the budget. I was wrong, obviously, I thought that we weren't going to discuss them, we were just gonna put through what was requested. I thought that's what the discussion had been.
If a current provider agency, so the tier 2, tier 3. Will still require appropriate vote.
Well, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this tonight, because this is something we
Well,
can address
I
it
think
now
what we should
anyway.
do is,
Do you wish to have any of them? I mean, this will be the time to say, are there?
Budget's still open, we haven't.
Right. Modify the budget and or ask for an additional provider agency or agencies to be separated out.
It's just getting so late.
Late in the night or late in
No,
the
just-
process?
Late process.
No, it's not. We're still in budget until we vote.
How much time do we have, Michelle?
Well, we have to, until you sign the warrant, it's really how much time you have, which I
It's
think
9
is the
o'clock.
13th of April.
No, don't feel like you can't do something because of pressure that doesn't exist.
I'm trying to find the budget first off. Can't even find it.
Yeah, the night of the public hearing is April 13th.
Yeah.
That's when you sign the warrant. We're finalizing everything, so you have
So we have,
until then.
We have until April 13th.
we
It
got a
is
month.
currently March 9th. You got more than a month. So if you don't want to do it tonight, you still got time.
We're just trying to solidify some of that warrant article drafting. That's all we're trying to do right now, as
Yeah.
part of this conversation.
Look, I will look at this, but let's at least to figure out what we want to do format wise.
You wanna say something, but you don't wanna say, it.
Somewhat.
Just do it.
Well, I'm trying to pull up the
What,
agencies.
I mean, I think we should just do it, Karen, I don't. If I don't wanna get into the next meeting and still. Break apart something if we know tonight, or you have an opinion tonight what we should do, so.
Well, my only concern was. We had a late letter from LCTV and their request is normally. For 80%, in the past, it's been like 80% of the revenue we got, we're not getting even this amount of revenue anymore, so that was my only concern, it's not a big number.
The number is 15,000 total.
We're only getting like 12,000 in
Excuse me.
revenue now, so I guess.
Why don't we just break it out into a separate warrant article,
it's fine.
just like YMCA and what's the other one?
The petitions,
Yeah,
Veggies to table.
it is always our prerogative to. Set warrant articles however we
Right.
want to within the bounds of the law.
what'd you say? It is.
We can set the warrant articles
Well,
however we want.
But I'm saying we have two other provider agencies that are gonna be a separate warrant article no matter what.
Yeah.
Let's just add a third one and then lump everything else together. We wanna solicit the opinion of the town on a certain budget. We have the right to do that.
Mhm.
That's completely fair.
So I don't know.
So option 5.
Yeah, option 5.
So should we vote on the motion?
We should, we have
And
to
then-
put on the motion now.
So
Just-
which
and then-
one is it?
No,
The motion was
Option 4.
set by Rufus, you seconded for option 4. So what I'll say is there any other discussion on that motion?
I don't know where we're leaning otherwise, but no, go ahead.
Okay, let's take a vote. All those in favor of option 4? As described,
I don't know how to do it.
I don't see any, the
No.
motion fails,
Okay.
0 numbers. Okay.
I move option 2.
Motion for option 2 by Ben. There a second?
I'll second it. Sure.
Move this.
The 16 authorizations are all ones we absolutely have to do. Why do we have so many more than some of the other towns, I wonder?
because they don't give as many authorities to their select board
Okay,
or their treasurer. That's mostly what it is. Does the legislative body give the select board the authority to do X, Y, and Z? Does it give the treasurer the authority to do X, Y, and Z? You can even have it they could give me authorities, but you don't want that.
okay.
All right, any other discussion on that question?
So if we're moving option 2, does that
Address Karen.
address Karen?
No,
No, I moved option 2 because I believe option 2 is the best way to go.
What are the 4 budget?
that would be the municipal budget
town-
and the agencies.
The Lincoln County,
The entire municipal budget. Plus All of the provider agencies except for the two that petitioned, that's the four
Okay.
budget related items.
So why would the provider agencies be broken out if we're doing the whole?
Two of them have to be because they
Yes.
petitioned.
Right,
And then the other one is just all of the other provider agencies that didn't petition but went through our process.
so why would they be broken out?
They're a group. They're not broken out. That's the motion that's on the floor. Is you lump all of the provider agencies. So the one you're thinking of is there's a separate question for every provider agency would have been option one.
No, I was just wondering why in this one we have to break out the
Two petitioned.
the current, no, the two petitioned I get. Why the rest of them not just rolled into the bottom line?
Because I thought of it from the perspective of the pass through. You have the municipal budget, you have the agencies that we
Okay.
support through this policy,
Okay,
and then you have these additional agencies that have gone through the petition process.
okay.
That's the only reason I drafted it that way. It's a valid question and you could lump that group in with the rest of the municipal budget if you wanted to. Be down to three.
Number two is. This is the way I thought we had talked about it
That's why I drafted. it that
before,
way.
so that's
Yep.
why I.
But I understand where.
Yes, I get it, yeah, absolutely,
Cause then you're voting it up or down solely based on the provider agencies are part of the municipal budget.
Yeah.
They're not.
yeah, right.
Right, and what happens if the provider agencies get voted down, not the petition ones, but the other ones? Does that mess up the whole budget?
No,
It messes up their budget,
Yes, but
but not ours.
Well, because it's outside the municipal budget, we can commit taxes.
you don't have to. You can go back to special town meeting and request another. Assumption of money before we commit the monies, but
But they're not a town department or.
so none of them, I don't think it's gonna happen, but none of them would get any money. Or we would have to go back and have a special town meeting to approve.
additional funds for appropriation.
Yes. Which I think is. I think that's the perfect middle of the road. But I agree with you, we could have one less question if we really wanted to.
And we're just playing 20 questions.
Any questions?
We would win. We got less than everybody else.
Oh, it's winning.
Well, as it is, 21's less than Camden did too.
Yeah, this one follows, I think, what we had discussed, Karen. Even though it's not written explicitly in the policy that way.
Well, this option also is the truest form of not having an open town meeting. Right, there's not. We're not discussing it. This is what it is.
Yep.
Vote on it, up or down.
Up or down,
Well, the discussion was supposed to happen in the budget meetings.
Yeah,
right?
it did among us, but
Mostly,
Public was invited. Meetings were recorded
I do have a hearing.
and we have a hearing coming. Thank you.
Now, I made the motion, but I'm not joking. I thought a lot about this. And my personal, if we can, are we at the point where we can express opinions?
Yeah, we have been actually. We made the motion then.
I made the motion.
Yeah,
My personal opinion honestly is, if we're not gonna do one municipal budget number question, then we honestly should just have regular town meeting.
right,
well, that still goes back to the participation. We're gonna have hundreds of people voting on this versus 50.
This is why I suggested it. A year ago.
But even if we had the many sections, it would still be hundreds of people voting on it versus
Yes,
50.
but. The other side of this is. Our ballot clerks and our clerks. Are gonna have to be here, for, between 8 AM and 8 PM, and we're anticipating. Yeah,
Earlier and later.
Earlier and later, anticipating 1,000 or more voters.
Yeah.
Easily 1,000 or more voters. Every additional question we have on the ballot is more time.
Yep.
Longer lines, more frustration, taken out on our town staff.
Well, and that much less likely for people to come back next year.
Correct.
Do we have any idea how many other questions outside of our town stuff's gonna be on the ballot?
Well, we'll have a separate school ballot. And then just what was presented, I don't think there's any ordinances, correct?
We're not, we don't, the timeline doesn't work for us to have any ordinances.
So-
But there's nothing from the state or,
The state has their own, as far as I know, there's not a referendum. I went on the website and I didn't see one, so it would be the candidates.
Primaries.
Yeah.
And it's the same candidate, we have four open positions for us too.
for us, yes.
Right.
And potentially a conversation about public works. May or may not, I think I put it in the memo.
Yeah. Okay, so the 21 questions here really are gonna be 21 plus 4 elections plus.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know,
Certain
whatever else.
number more, so group 30.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Bueno. We'll go all in on trying something different.
If we will hear about it,
Oh, yeah,
one way or the other,
regardless of how.
regardless of which one we
Which one
pick, we're gonna
pick,
hear
we're gonna
about it. Absolutely.
For what it's worth, I was concerned about this early in the week and I did talk to Kevin and Shelley about how do we manage the extra time that it's gonna take everybody
Yeah.
in the booth. And I think we just need more booths. It's the only way to even out that equation.
Yeah.
For what typically would take somebody on like, you know, a typical primary, you know, or typical
2 or 3
ballot,
minutes.
2 or 3 minutes.
Yes.
From the time you walk through the door, you get your out maybe 5 to 7. I think you gotta double that at least. So you're talking about 10 to 15. If anybody does their time, and then it's just gonna just, you know, I think that's what you're gonna be. So I think in that theory, we need at least twice as many booths to manage. The big,
Wiring then at this point is the hardest part, but we can, when Shelley and I have talked a bit about this, about
Well,
setting up additional tables.
I think there could be
Spacers.
partitions. They don't
Yep.
need to be.
The things we have in there now, those stand up parts.
I think we can manage it.
Yeah, it is gonna be in the fire stations.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll just build some.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
literally, yeah.
We'll put them-
Shelley was gonna order petition there.
No, don't do that. I mean,
Well, here's the thing too, I mean, if this is gonna be our standard. I mean, we're gonna have to think about this every year. And you know, at least every other year, we're gonna have a primary or some kind of state ballot.
Let's talk offline.
Yeah, let's talk offline.
Well, and let's see how it goes. We'll do some kind of little. People will be tired of checking boxes, but maybe we can do some kind of little
Exit survey.
questionnaire
Yeah.
for an exit survey that they can just quickly fill out and leave or take with them or do it online. Yeah.
We'll put together a draft questionnaire.
That'll be important to see if we want to do it next
I
year.
got,
Microphone.
yeah, Mike, go ahead.
Very quick, will absentee be an option?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And in fact, we're gonna work to promote absentee this year.
Yeah.
Just because of the potential for a large turnout and long waits.
I will be absentee.
Yeah, then you can sit down with your coffee and
Yes.
go through it and research it and.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To your own.
Yes, that's great.
Ben, are you still good with your motion with no amendments?
For option 2?
Yes,
I am.
okay. Is there any other discussion on this?
Who's
Is there a second?
Rufus,
I did.
let's take a vote. All those in favor?
Well, let's jump.
Wow, okay.
Do it.
5 unanimous. We're gonna do option 3. Okay, new business, item 6A, grant acceptance, Lincoln County Affordable Housing ARPA funds. Boy, this is. a
Good job,
no-brainer.
Kevin.
Earning his keep.
Mhm.
Motion to accept $36,000 of additional.
Oh,
Lincoln
yeah.
County ARPA funds.
I'll look that.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
What, no discussion?
I'll keep fighting for more.
Easy one. Thank
Good
you.
job.
Yeah.
Okay, item 7A, fiscal warrant for FY 26 16th AP warrant for $75,902.31. Is there a motion to move this?
So moved.
Okay, second. Rufus and Thomas, thank you. And discussion, comments, questions?
The small one.
Dalton?
Look like the normal stuff. And look, we have the sign. Oh, you brought it.
Oh,
He brought it
She
because I
brought it.
forgot a pen.
I have a pen.
All right, let's take a vote.
Before you sign
Before you sign
it.
I'm waiting.
All those in favor?
Okay.
Okay, motion passes. Town manager report, do you want to review that, Kevin, please?
I'll be quick.
Yeah.
Posted, roads have been posted. I'm sure you've seen the orange signs. Our downtown village public outreach events are happening this week, tomorrow night, 6 o'clock at the ATEC building, at Lincoln Academy. That's in person. There's a link for registering. We ask that you do, you don't have to, but, and then we're also doing it virtually on the 12th. Same concept, talking about housing, specifically on housing. So, and if you aren't able to go or you plan to go, please bring a friend. We would love to see greater turnout for these events. It is gonna help inform us as we're moving forward with some potential projects in our community.
It's gonna be a nice evening, go out to outreach up at the school tomorrow night.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a nice night.
gonna be a nice night, walk there, man.
Mm.
The Public Works Working Group is meeting on Thursday night at 6 p.m. at the Amersfoort Town Office. There's a link to the agenda and links to some of the documents we're working on. What comes of that working group conversation will be brought back to the select boards, maybe as a joint select board meeting, just to discuss how we're gonna move forward or if we're gonna move forward. Special town meeting is coming up March 23rd to address the CLC ambulance interlocal agreement, as well as the 2 bond questions. Lynch Road detour, there's still a link there. I continue to get updates and reports are added. Nomination papers, they're available at town office. We have 2 seats for the select board, 1 seat for a school board, and 1 seat to fill a vacancy with the Great Salt Bay Sanitary District. And they'll be available at the town office. The filing deadline is April 13th, no later than 4:30 when we close. Please reach out to the office with any questions. I mentioned last time about the informational workshop on tourism and hospitality. Read about it in my report. As well as there's a training for incident command system specifically for senior officials. This is a good one for elected officials to attend if they're interested. It's March 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. in Lewiston. This training is free and open to all. If you're interested in, please reach out to me and I'll make sure you get signed up. And then I am out of the office the last week of March, first few days of April, for a family vacation. That's it.
Nice, thank you. All right, guys, no future items, no executive session.
I just wanted to say on the meeting Wednesday.
The Zoom meeting or the one tomorrow night?
ATEC building tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, never mind, it's
Yeah,
tomorrow night,
Tuesday.
yep, you're right. You guys put together it's here somewhere,
There's a summary.
Summary.
Of the
Comp plan
comp
stuff.
plan available. I mean, we're gonna talk about some elements of the comp plan. That summary document is Michael had done a nice job trying to just highlight some key points that are relevant to the conversations.
Right, people might wanna read that if they don't wanna take the time to read the whole comp plan.
Thank you, yes, it's a, save yourself some time.
Yeah.
Focus in on these elements, because they're most relevant to what we're trying to achieve. Making sure we're doing it right without rocking the boat too much.
Great, okay, that objection, motion adjourned at, meeting adjourned at 9:09. Thanks, everyone.
Oh,
You.
thank you.